get up and howl about America and democracy. There is no America. There is no democracy. We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies. The world is a college of corporations. The world is a business. I have chosen you to preach this event.
Good morning, comrades. How are we doing today? So today is the last day before the TikTok ban. Now, if you don't know, the TikTok ban is being enforced onto the American people because the American government is accusing China of stealing Americans' data, labeling it a national security risk. Well, we all know that the American corporations and the American government steals our data daily. We live under a surveillance police state, but we're supposed to think China is a threat to the American people. Well, I'd argue that the United States is the enemy of the working class in America and the enemy of the working class worldwide, period. The reason why I'm creating content, at least Marxist content, is because of TikTok. I grew a following of, I had about 15 accounts where I had about a total of 20K followers, you could say, until they all got banned. Except the one that I'm currently at, and that's about 7,200. But nonetheless, thank you if you came over from TikTok to come support me here. I really do appreciate you showing the love. I will like to say that I do have other social medias in my link tree if you guys want to follow me there. I will be focusing majority of my energy here on YouTube, creating content, and I will be also organizing in real life. So maybe taking this break from TikTok will be the break that I need. With that being said, let's continue on with the video. Today we'll be covering part 3 on correcting mistaken ideas in the party by Mao Zedong, December 1929. This part is on the disregard of organizational discipline. The disregard of organizational discipline in the party organization in the Fourth Army manifests itself as follows. A. Failure of the minority to submit to the majority. For example, when a minority finds its motion voted down, it does not sincerely carry out the party decisions. The methods of correction are as follows. 1. At meetings, all participants should be encouraged to voice their opinions as fully as possible. The rights and wrongs in any controversy should be clarified without compromise or glossing over. In order to reach a clear-cut conclusion, what cannot be settled at one meeting should be discussed at another, provided there is no interference with the work. 2. One requirement of party discipline is that the minority should submit to the majority. If the view of the minority has been rejected, it must support the decision passed by the majority. If necessary, it can bring up the maker for reconsideration at the next meeting. But apart from that, it must not act against the decision in any way. B. Criticisms made without regard to organizational discipline. 1. Inter-party criticisms is a weapon for strengthening the party organization and increasing its fighting capacity. In the party organization of the Red Army, however, criticism is not always of this character and sometimes turns into personal attack. As a result, it damages the party organization as well as individuals. This is a manifestation of petty bourgeois individualism. The method of correcting is to help party members understand that the purpose of criticism is to increase the party's fighting capacity in order to achieve victory in the class struggle, and that it should not be used as a means of personal attack. 2. Many party members make their criticisms not inside, but outside the party. The reason is that the general membership has not yet grasped the importance of the party organization, its meetings, and so forth, and sees no difference between criticism inside and outside the organization. The method of correction is to educate party members so that they understand the importance of party organization and make their criticisms of party committees or comrades at party meetings. Narrator break here. I want to mention that we'll also be covering part 2 on absolute equalitarianism. I also want to mention that within a party, it must be stressed that the general membership, while they are currently being educated and being guided through cadreship, should never really be involved within cadreship and committee affairs until they have, moved their way up. I think it's important to have discipline and have those boundaries set, right? It's important to also listen to the masses and listen to the general members and to hear what they have to say, because they are important. They are boots on the ground. They are the first on the scene. They report back to the chapter heads or the committees, so on and so forth. I think it's important to have those boundaries. We must keep these boundaries, and we must stay disciplined, right? A disciplined and a organized committee or a organized organization could do a lot of mass work on the ground, and it's important to highlight that. We will continue on with the next part, which will be on absolute equalitarianism. Absolute equalitarianism became quite serious in the Red Army at one time. Here are some examples. On the matter of allowances to wounded soldiers, there were objections to differentiating between light and serious cases, and the demand was raised for equal allowances for all. When officers rode on horseback, it was regarded not as something necessary for performing their duties, but as a sign of inequality. Absolutely equal distribution of supplies was demanded. And there was objection to somewhat larger allotments in special cases. In the hauling of rice, the demand was made that all should carry the same load on their backs, irrespective of age or physical condition. Equality was demanded in the allotment of billets, and the headquarters would be abused for occupying larger rooms. Equality was demanded in the assignment of fatigue duties, and there was unwillingness to do a little more than the next man. It even went so far that when there were 2 wounded men but only 1 stretcher, neither could be carried away because each refused to yield priority to the other. Absolute equalitarianism, as shown in these examples, is still very serious among officers and soldiers of the Red Army. Absolute equalitarianism, like ultra-democracy in political matters, is the product of a handicraft and small peasant economy. The only difference being that one manifests itself in material affairs, while the other manifests itself in political affairs. The method of correction. We should point out that before the abolition of capitalism, absolute equalitarianism is a mere illusion of peasants and small proprietors, and that even under socialism there can be no absolute equality for material things, will then be distributed on the principles of from each according to his ability to each according to his work, as well as on that of meeting the needs of the work. The distribution of material things in the Red Army must be more or less equal, as in the case of equal pay for officers and men, because this is required by the peasant circumstances of the struggle. But absolute equalitarianism beyond reason must be opposed, because it is not required by the struggle. On the contrary, it hinders the struggle. And that will be the end of part 2 of this selected works by Mao Zedong. I really do appreciate everybody stopping by and, supporting me, giving me a like, commenting. This really means a lot to me. TikTok was my place where I had majority of following, where I could voice majority of my opinions.
But with that being said, thank you so much. I love you, and goodbye.